Live from Indianapolis, the second PBA Tour major of the season. Anthony Simonson, already a winner at the PBA Tour's opening doubles event in 2016. Today, Anthony Simonson is on his own. With a win in one match today, Simonson would become the youngest major champion in PBA Tour history. The United States Bowling Congress Masters, now from Woodland Bowl.
Welcome to Indianapolis for the 2016 USBC Masters. It's time to meet the 5 finalists for today's competition. The number 5 seed has one PBA Tour title, making his second consecutive TV Finals appearance from Riverview, Florida, Tom Doherty. The number 4 seed is the 2013 U.S. Open champion and past PBA Player of the Year from Pflugerville, Texas, Big Wes Malott. The number 3 seed has one PBA Tour title, looking for his first career major championship from Avon, Ohio, Chris Loschetter. The number 2 seed was the 2011 Canadian national champion from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, Dan McClelland. Our number 1 seed has to win only one match today to take home that first place prize of $50,000. Will he be the youngest player ever to win a PBA major at age 19? From Princeton, Texas, Anthony Simonson. These are your competitors for the 2016 USBC Masters.
And hello again, everyone. Mike Jakubowski with PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson. Kimberly Pressler reports laneside today. History made last week at the PBA Tournament of Champions inside the Fire Lake Arena. Randy, more major history, a possibility today.
It's the beauty of major championships, Mike. It's where careers are defined and history is made. And we witnessed that just last week when 20-year-old two-handed left-hander Jesper Svensson became the youngest player in PBA history to capture the Tournament of Champions. This week, it's your number 1 seed, 19-year-old two-handed right-hander, Anthony Simonson. He got off to a great start this season by capturing the Marshall Holman doubles event with partner Connor Pickford. And in his first singles appearance, he looks to become the youngest player in USBC history to win. Not to mention the youngest player in PBA history to win a major.
4 other players will have a say as to who meets Simonson in today's stepladder final as we complete in classic stepladder fashion. Dan McClelland, the number 2 seed, Chris Loschetter, the number 3 seed, Tom Doherty versus Wes Malott in our opening match. And Wes Malott, owner of one career major among his 10 PBA Tour titles.
His only major, he did it in striking fashion against the greatest player on the planet, Jason Belmonte. Nothing like hoisting the eagle.
And Kimberly Pressler is standing by right now with Wes Malott.
Thanks, guys. So, Wes, I just saw you throw a practice shot, but we talked earlier in the week, and someone said that your knee was tweaked. What is the status of it right now?
Well, Kimberly, first off, I want to say hi to my kids, little Kenny, and a special happy Valentine's to my wife back home. As far as my knee, in the match against Alex Aguiar Friday evening, I went to run a shot out and it kind of twisted and popped, and wasn't sure I was going to be able to bowl Belmo on Saturday morning, but iced it, took care of it, and came back and actually felt better than I had all week. So I'm here to play.
All right, well, let's move on from the knee and talk about the fact that you've won plenty of titles over your career, but you've only won one major. Would you say that this point in time your focus is just winning majors?
No, not at all. My job out here is to compete and make a living and make sure that my family's well at home. So all titles count out here, and hopefully we can bring another one home today and add another major. I mean, this is a tournament that I've lost to Belmo, and I've already beat him once, so now it's time for those guys to come beat me.
All right, well, good luck to you today.
Thanks, Kimberly.
Guys, Wes Malott is looking forward to hopefully being the second player ever to climb the stepladder and win a USBC Master. Jason Belmonte was the first to do it in 2014.
USBC Masters format, 417 bowlers, bowled 15 qualifying games, cutting to the top 63 with defending champion Jason Belmonte. Double elimination, 3 games, total pins match play, with the top 5 advancing to our step ladder final. Wes Malott taking on Tom Doherty. And Wes, as the number 4 seed, indicates that Doherty will begin the match. Opening shot, it's the Masters. Doherty, power mix, strike to open.
Doherty, a lot of momentum in his camp, coming off last week's Tournament of Champions show. Speaking with him the other night, very confident.
And now Wes Malott. Speaking with Wes yesterday, 39 out of Pflugerville, Texas, those 10 PBA Tour titles. Looking to even up his career television record with a win here in the opening match. Wes returning to form and starting to get that Player of the Year confidence and the strut of the big nasty opening shot. 10 pin, he waits. If a player leads and converts the 7-10 split on today's show, he will earn the $100,000 ultimate spare bonus, courtesy of Ultimate Bowling.
Wes Malott getting things started quickly there. The party has started with a little messenger action.
Wes getting a good feel, reporting that halfway through the qualifying, he felt like Player of the Year Wes Malott. Strike apiece, second frame, opening match. And they all fall down, double for Wes.
A lot of players on the PBA Tour feel like Wes Malott is one of the best out here. Nicknamed Beast for a good reason. He's got probably the greatest release going this side of Pete Weber, and looked like the pins kind of knew who was letting go of that ball on that shot.
Doherty up, second frame, and the ball crosses over, and it's a 3-10 split.
Why do I have to leave that every time?
Last week he left the 3-10 3 times and missed it twice. And that's why he gave you the remark, I can't make this. Tom Doherty actually an excellent spare shooter.
Note the wrist position at release here.
Uh-oh, stuck. Still made it.
Good spare, clean frame for Tom Doherty. You see it often enough, it becomes the hammer, tough spare replay.
Even sticking at the foul line, he was able to direct the ball on line. I think he's happy.
You mentioned Doherty in rhythm. He's not a practice guy, but bowling 17 days in a row is giving him what he needs.
A lot of games, too. He said approximately 120 games over that span.
Touch high, avoids the 4-9, just the 9 stands.
Just right of third arrow at the 15-foot mark. Coming in high, leaving the 9-pin, tripping the 4 late. Take a look at our USBC Masters oil pattern. 39 feet in length. Medium scoring pace. I think
USBC did a great job with this oil pattern because it lent itself to multiple angles, and you saw players using urethane early to try to go straighter, then switching to more aggressive equipment, moving in. There was a lot of strategy involved with.
Randy's a little loud over there.
Sorry, Wes.
As always.
A lot of strategy involved with players, determining what line they were going to play, what bowling balls to use.
What? I told him I loved him. I'm good.
All right, shutting up now, Wes. Shutting up.
Taking a look at the path of Wes Malott on the way here, defeating Francois Lavoie, Walter Ray Williams Jr., Alex Aguiar. And the big match was the 3-time defending champion, Jason Belmonte. Before losing to Simonson and a forfeit. Wes mentioned that stopping the Belmo run was the most nerve-wracking match he's had. But he put everything together, and it gave him the confidence to feel that he's still elite on this tour.
Yeah, it was a great match. Probably the best matchup that we had this week. Is that ball drift's just a pinch high, leaving the fourth one. And he said, yeah, that was a huge momentum builder for him, and taking out Jason Belmonte, who's basically owned this event for the last 3 seasons.
Absolutely stellar, amazing run. No one ever thought that there'd be back-to-back winners again at the Masters, much less 3 in a row. And Belmonte went deep in this event, making a run for an unprecedented 4th title, and Wes Malott played a role in stopping that run. 4th frame, Malott leads by 10 pins.
Ah. That was my shoe. That's on me.
See, it wasn't me. It wasn't me that time.
Leslie learned how to bowl.
Big man brings it back.
And one of the keys that he told us about the other day was that he has to stay slow at the start to keep his feet under him. Gets too quick early, he tends to tip forward, makes his swing steep from the top.
And splits the 8 and the 9 strike for Wes Malott.
My shoe never squeaks.
Tom Doherty's path through match play. Stu Williams, Ryan Simonelli, Sean Maldonado, Marshall Kent before losing to Dan McClelland and being dispatched to the eliminator match where he came in 3rd to qualify for the number 5 seed. 4th frame. Power mix strike for Doherty.
A lot of great players on that list that he took out. Last time he was high on this lane, made an adjustment, makes a better shot, gets the ball a little bit farther right. Wow, that thing came back from nowhere.
Tom feels he's perhaps underperformed in his career, and he feels that now's the time, that with age, with wisdom, that his bowling right now is better than it's ever been. And back-to-back major appearances on television would prove that point. 5th frame, strike working, can even things up with another one.
Cured it. Great shot there, 10 in the pit for Tom Doherty. A little bit farther in on that left lane, and ball was dead flush. He's all about feel. He's a field player, and he prides himself in executing.
Wes Malott's arsenal, biggest hook ball in the bag, the lock.
With the new oil that the PBA has introduced for the 2016 season, it's been very thick and very heavy. Heavy volumes, and the players have been using a lot stronger equipment, more asymmetrical equipment than ever before, even the high rev guys.
And why would they consider that option?
Because it's asymmetrical balls hook more. They read the lane surface earlier than symmetrical cores. And so the players have needed the bigger engines inside the bowling balls to get their balls to start up and hook.
Malott 4 to 5 strikes, 6th frame. Yeah! 5 out of 6 for the big man. 20-pin lead for Wes Malott, and we'll dig deeper with pushaways when we examine the finer points of the game when we return to Indianapolis. Stay with us at the Masters. The USBC Masters is brought to you by the United States Bowling Congress, creating competitive opportunities at all levels as we build a future for the sport. Visit bowl.com for more. By hotelplanner.com, the best place to book hotel rooms, best rate guaranteed. By Fire Lake Arena, a Citizen Potawatomi Nation enterprise. And by Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. Lucas Oil Stadium in the heart of downtown Indianapolis, home of the Colts. Inside Woodland Bowl, and Team Fish coming up a little bit later on today's show. Double elimination match play, the unique element at the United States Bowling Congress Masters. Extra frame tournament highlights of the Masters. The winner's bracket championship match. 3-game total pins. Anthony Simonson versus Dan McClelland.
And Anthony Simonson would win 683 to 636 to claim the #1 seed and remain undefeated in the tournament.
3-time defending champion Jason Belmonte sent to the elimination bracket by Wes Malott, trying to stay alive against Martin Larson.
But Martin Larson would dispatch the 3-time winner.
Incredible accomplishment, 3 times in a row for Belmonte. And now the 4-for-3 elimination match.
Chris Loschetter locking up the #3 seed. Big Wes Malott shoots 687 in the final 4-man eliminator match to claim the 4 seed. Tom Doherty rounding out the top 5.
Martin Larson, the odd man out, eliminated in the 4-for-3 elimination match, producing the top 5 field at the United States Bowling Congress Masters. Midway through our opening match at Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana, Mike Jakubowski with Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler, and Tom Doherty trails by 20 pins against Wes Malott. The winner of this opening match goes on to face Chris Loschetter, Dan McClelland, and Anthony Simonson yet to come along the stepladder. 6th frame.
Nice shot. Tommy.
6-10.
Right through the nose, just leaving the 610, but he needed
Terrible.
a strike there and then one in the 7th to pull even with Big Wes Malott. Let's take a look at our track tech talk. 2 different ways of bowling without using your thumb. Check out the elongated push away, Tom Doherty there on the left, and 0 push away from Anthony Simonson on the right. So Tom Doherty likes to keep his feet slow to give his swing time to develop, whereas Anthony, he has to get his feet moving to create ball speed. 2 different ways, not using your thumb.
Doherty, the no thumber in the 7th, and again, tight on the nose, this time the 3 with the 610.
Interestingly enough, last night, Wes Malott said, you know, we have to really follow transition as Tom Doherty is going to try to get his ball right over here into the 3-6, and the 6-pin will take out the 10. He says staying in front of the transition, key.
Spare for Doherty. They're cheering him on at his home center, Oakfield Lanes in Brandon, Florida. Doherty also owns 9 PBA Regional Tour titles, bowling primarily out of the South region, near his hometown of Riverview, Florida. Key shot for Wes Malott. He can really take control of this match.
Increase his lead to 35 right here with a strike.
Wide path, 6 gets the 10, strike from Malott.
That unique release of his and ball roll is what creates great pin carry. The 6-pin just slapped the 10-pin silly on that shot.
Wes Malott wearing a heart rate monitor during practice, 130, and that is now wrapped up between 144 and 142. Randy, when I work out, I try to maintain 136 on the treadmill.
Wes Malott has a heart.
And it's beating.
Yeah, great shot. You know, it looked like his heart rate was pretty steady, and that's Big Wes. I mean, he's not a real emotional guy, and I think that's also what makes him so great. He's able to kind of just flatline it.
Doherty operating with the raw urge. It's a 9-point hook on a scale of 10, indicating hook potential, 8th frame. And trouble with the nose and another 3-6-10.
Didn't stay in front of the breakdown or the transition as the lanes start to change and dry up a bit. Tom has not been able to stay in front of that. Last 3 shots in a row, all going high. Another 3-6-10. Tom Doherty, unfortunately, running out of frames. You know, the other big difference is ball roll. And Tom Doherty's a high rev guy, not using this down, I get that, but he actually has more end-over-end rotation. Wes Malott has a little bit more side rotation, so naturally, Tom Doherty's bowling ball is going to read the lane much quicker, much sooner.
221 max for Doherty, and Wes Malott pacing in the 240s.
Ball change.
And a strike for Doherty in the 9th. And this week it's Big Monday presented by Delta on ESPN. We'll have the Wolfpack taking on number 7 Virginia at 7 Eastern in the ACC. Then we head to the Big 12 at 9 for Oklahoma State and number 6 Kansas at always raucous Allen Fieldhouse. Part of Rivalry Week presented by Wendy's, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Foundation frame for Wes Malott. Big lead. Swing of strikes. Touch high 4 pins.
See, and there's the difference. Wes goes 4-pin, whereas Tom Doherty goes 3-6-10, goes through the nose. And that's just the difference in bowling ball roll, rotation, and how early Wes's ball reads versus how early Tom Doherty's bowling ball reads. You know, he told us both, he says, you know, if you get by the first couple of games, there's a really good chance of running the ladder because you have that roadmap and how the lanes are transitioning, and you know when to stay in front. You know, like after 3 shots, you got to move, even though your bowling ball hasn't gone high yet. And we'll just have to wait and see if Wes can get a couple of wins under his belt. He might just run the ladder.
Big Wes earns the victory here over Tom Doherty. And Tom Doherty with back-to-back top 5 finishes in majors, but will not advance. Wes Malott moves on and will face Chris Loschetter. When we return to Woodland Bowl, let's flash back to Walter Ray Williams Jr.'s last PBA Tour title. Wednesday at 9 Eastern, it's college basketball's greatest rivalry, Duke versus number 9 North Carolina at the Dean Dome. Wednesday Night Hoops is part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Wes Malott, a winner in our opening match over Tom Doherty, moving along the stepladder, and a big string of strikes in the middle, Randy, propelling him to victory.
Yeah, he was just real solid, stayed ahead of the transition and made the right moves and made great shots.
Time now for the Ebonite flashback to the greatest of all time and his last title in Reno.
Yeah, hard to believe his last title 6 years ago. Takes out Ryan Simonelli, and then in the title match shoots 290 against Chris Barnes. Look at Walter Ray just slinging wood.
'47 career titles, the greatest of all time. USBC Masters stepladder final score 258-189. Wes Malott now moves up to face Chris Loschetter. Dan McClelland and 19-year-old Anthony Simonson are along the stepladder. Anthony Simonson with A.J. Johnson, runner-up here last year. Will he be the youngest major champion in PBA Tour history? He's got a couple of matches to find out who his opponent will be. Before the break, a sneak preview at a 30 for 30 short, the bad boy of bowling, featuring PBA Hall of Famer Pete Weber.
Coming up, we're bowling with Pete Weber.
I think the best way to describe Pete Weber is controlled chaos. You know that the guy's going to just absolutely erupt.
Pete Weber changed the game as we know it. He made bowling watchable.
The ratings for bowling are beating the ratings for hockey.
Well, have you seen this guy, Pete Weber? Have you seen, do we have tape on this? Do we have this guy? Watch this guy.
If there's no Pete Weber, I don't even know if there's a bowler.
I don't call myself the best in the world because I suck.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Every sport needs a bad guy. Every sport needs a hero. I just so happen to like to play the role of the villain.
Beautiful Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana, a showpiece, 70-lane center, recently renovated, and one of the absolute jewels, the Yankee Stadium of pro bowling.
I love this place. I was fortunate enough to win here back in the 90s, and just a great place to come back, do a lot of history.
Speaking of history, 3 times a winner at the Masters, starting in 2013. And then in 2014, the first repeat winner in half a decade.
Yeah, and the first time anyone has ever run the ladder to win the Masters.
And then the unthinkable, 3 straight Masters titles. Jason Belmonte, 3-time defending champion here. Mike Fagan winning before that, Tom Hess and Reno. And we've already seen Walter Ray Williams Jr., Randy, one of the all-time great feats in pro bowling history.
Yeah, it was pretty special to watch, and fortunate to be able to call the action. And he was owning the Masters and made a nice run at this year's Masters until he ran into Big Wes.
Match number 2, Chris Loschetter dictates Wes Malott will begin. Opening shot. Another third arrow. And a strike for Wes Malott.
Just one of the prettiest releases in our sport. Wes Malott just kind of feathers that ball off of his hand. It's just so soft at the bottom. You see how soft he goes through it, and that hand rotates around the side of that ball. And it's a unique ball roll.
Chris Loschetter had a rough 2015 campaign, called it his worst year on tour, and he has got the routine back, practice, physical conditioning, and now competitive bowling. Opening shot.
And congrats to Chris Loschetter and his wife Erin. New baby boy back in May, I think one day after my birthday, May 29th.
Emmett was born a little premature, and everyone is doing well. And part of the distractions and part of life. And now Chris Loschetter back on track. He feels he is back, and he makes this major title. Coming in on number 3 seed, second frame. Splits the 8 and the 9. Double for Loschetter out of the gate.
Looks like there's a little bit of hold area that's been developing on that left lane. Chris Loschetter, the higher seed, he gets choice of starting lane and where he finishes, so he chose to have Wes start the match so that he can finish on that left lane.
Part of Wes Malott's resume is operating a pro shop, and he loves giving back to the industry and the community. His Malott's All-Stars Youth Championship has raised over $75,000. And double apiece. Kimberly Pressler is laneside.
Thanks, guys. Tom, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. Despite this loss, you've had a really good run the past 2 weeks. You made 2 majors in a row, and you still have the Players' Championship next week. How do you move forward?
Well, you know, it's just the nature of the beast. We get one game to do our thing, and someone's going to come on top, someone's going to lose. So we got next week, practice sessions tomorrow. Got a couple-hour drive tonight, and we're gonna get there. We're gonna go back at it next week, see if we can make another show.
All right, good luck, and thanks so much.
Thank you.
Knowledge and image on tour combined with craftsmanship are a big part of the Milan mystique.
Yes!
Turkey!
You can already see how much farther left Wes has migrated from game 1 till now. Just on the other side of third arrow, and that's how quick the lanes transition.
Loschetter's game is keeping his angles in front of him, keeping his hands soft. What does keeping your hands soft do for Loschetter?
Don't grab it, don't hit up on it. Nice and soft at the bottom, just let the ball roll out of your hand.
Touch high, 4-7.
Again, similar ball rotation to Tom Doherty in that there's a little bit more roll to this action than there is side roll. So a little more end over end makes the ball read sooner. It's also going to make the bowling ball read transition quicker. It's also going to make it react more violent once it sees friction.
Oh, no.
And major mental error, missed spare. And a look at Chris Loschetter's path through the double elimination match play, defeating Brandon Novak, dispatched to the elimination bracket early and then running off a string of victories. Haugen, Bohr, Aguiar, Prather, Kent, and Ryan Simonelli. And then he finished top in the 4-man eliminator to earn his number 3 seed. 4th frame. And a 6-pin.
Too much up the lane on that shot, goes high. Obviously shaken after missing the 4-7 on the right lane, but this is way too straight up the boards. It's got to give it some head belly and some room to the right.
Spare for Loschetter. Bowls out of Oberlin College Lanes in Oberlin, Ohio. Chris out of Avon, Ohio, 35 years old, 12 years a pro. Will need to overcome the missed spare, and Wes Malott showing no signs of slowing down at this point.
Four-bagger. He'll make a move the next time he's on that right lane as his ball goes high flush. 4 in a row, increases the lead to 34. Watch this. 16th board at the arrows. 4 going late. And as a player, you know the next time up on that lane, you have to make an adjustment left to find more oil to hold the ball off.
As we mentioned, Wes returning to what he considers Player of the Year form. He earned that Player of the Year award in 2009 after winning 3 titles during that season. On the 4-bagger, 5th frame. Understated Wes.
It's bowling great. Loschetter's got to start striking, get back in this and put a little pressure back on Wes Malott.
Columbia 300 fun fact with this event, Indianapolis has now hosted 37 PBA Tour events, and Woodland Bowl has hosted 32 times, including 12 majors, crossing over 6-pin.
What's really cool about Woodland is after you win, they put your banner up, and there's just an array of PBA banners with the players' last names on them, all the champions that have won here.
Impressive facility, 70 lanes straight across. And Loschetter is in trouble.
Yeah, he's in big trouble. He's got
The United States Bowling Congress Masters rolls on from Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. Technical difficulties in Indianapolis have been cleared up. We apologize for leaving you so abruptly. And we apologize to Wes Ballot and Chris Loschetter for disrupting their match, which was commanded by Wes Ballot.
Wes Ballot perfect through the first 5 frames.
Ballot in control, and Chris Loschetter in the 6th frame with a 9 and spare. And now we will resume right where we left off with Wes Ballot and the front 5 strikes. The winner here will move on to our semifinal and face Dan McClelland. 19-year-old Anthony Simonson awaits in our title match. Wes Ballot, 46 pins, and the players receiving a couple of extra shots, Randy, during our break to stay loose.
Yeah, and last time on this lane, Wes Ballot a little rotund. I look for him to move towards the center part of the lane a little bit more, find a little bit more oil, help the ball skid down the lane.
And it's high, and a roller misses the 10-pin.
Hard to see around Big West, but he asks this one to curve, and it just comes in just a pinch late and almost gets the roller 10. Mike J, right now, Wes Ballot's making this oil pattern look easy.
Front 5 and a spare, 45-pin lead over Chris Loschetter. Loschetter missing the spare back in the 3rd. He doubled, opened, and then 3 9 counts in a spare. Ballot in command, plus 45. 7th frame. Ballot bowls out of his home center, Highland Lanes in Austin, Texas. Operates a pro shop. Intimate knowledge of the equipment.
Yes!
And intimate contact with the
Stay on
7-10. He raced, striking the 7.
Positive. Come on.
And Ballot, the only major championship winner on today's telecast.
6 of 7 strikes for Wes Ballot. Chris Loschetter needs to find something very quickly. Max score of 224. And light, and just 1 remains.
And there's the dilemma. He goes Brooklyn the last time on the right lane and then moves in and tries to open the lane up and goes light. Wes Ballot is creating a reaction none of the other players have gotten close to yet.
Fourth straight 9 spare for Chris Loschetter. Tonight at 11 Eastern, join us for a special Valentine's edition of SportsCenter at night with the 2 Johns. They'll have all the highlights from the NBA All-Star Game, Kobe's last ride, the NHL Pebble Beach, and let you know if there were any more upsets in college basketball. SportsCenter at night tonight right here on ESPN and streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Getting late for Loschetter. Between 3rd and 4th arrow, and a better shot. 6 gets the 10.
No more like it.
Ellie has to strike out and hope that Ballot runs into a boatload of trouble here with 3 frames to go. I don't see that happening. Wes has been great at staying in front of the transition, in front of the oil pattern changing, and he's been making great shots.
6 of 7 strikes for Ballot, can extend his lead with another strike, 8th frame. Solid.
Last time on this lane, just a little bit soft into the pocket. So what does Wes Ballot do? Well, he gives this one the business. Right there at the bottom, gives it a little extra. Look at the rotation on that bowling ball.
Big Wes in command, foundation frame.
Oh,
That's too good. haven't done that in a while.
A little premature on the react there, as Wes was not expecting to leave a solid 9-pin.
That's a burr under the saddle for the Texan.
All right.
Cleans up the spare, big lead. Best Loschetter can do is 223.
That's why I don't get excited very often.
At least on the outside. But we know you're excited on the inside, Wes, so you're not fooling us.
Loschetter doubles up. Likely too little, too late.
So with more side rotation, Chris Loschetter could now kind of duplicate what Wes Malot's doing, but when he's more end over end, as wife Erin Loschetter looks on and giving us the Valentine's Day hand signs, it's all about ball rotation, and Loesch is known for rolling it. Malott is known for getting on the side of it. You can see the ball just laboring down lane.
Wide and double wood, and Wes Malott will advance to the semifinal and face Dan McClelland.
You want less down lane reaction, keep your hand up the back. You want more down lane reaction, get your hand off the side.
Fill ball for Loschetter in the 10th, and Wes Malott moves along the stepladder. He has reached the semifinal. Dan McClelland from Canada will face him next. The winner will move on to face 19-year-old Anthony Simonson. Wes Malott, every bit the future Hall of Famer. More when we return to Woodland Bowl. It's the Masters. This week, it's Big Monday presented by Delta on ESPN. We'll have the Wolfpack taking on number 7 Virginia at 7 Eastern in the ACC. Then we head to the Big 12 at 9 for Oklahoma State and number 6 Kansas at always raucous Allen Fieldhouse. All part of Rivalry Week presented by Wendy's, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Semifinal. Wes Malott versus Dan McClelland. Kimberly Pressler is with the number 2 seed.
I sure am. Thanks, guys. So, Dan, you know, it's been a while since we've seen you on tour. You got a new job. You got a new baby. What's it like to be back on ESPN at a major?
You know, it's like home. You know, I love this type of atmosphere. The crowd's amazing today. You hear them all the way to the practice pair. So, you know, I'm just going to go out, have fun, and you'll see what happens.
All right. Well, good luck to you today. Guys, back to you in the booth.
Thanks, Kimberly. Dan McClelland at a crossroads, Randy. After the Masters last year, he dropped his professional membership, became an amateur once again. And he is the GM at Frederick Lanes in Kitchener, Ontario. And a new Dan McClelland now with us here today.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic and that he had a bad taste in his mouth last year at the Masters. Left with some hard feelings, and you know, unfortunately, that's how this sport can treat you. But it's amazing what a year makes, and he turned everything around at this very tournament a year later. So it's nice to see Dan back, but it's under completely different circumstances.
Big challenge ahead of him. Wes Malott with momentum. Semifinal begins. Skates a bit wide and a 2-pin.
And I think that's the first time Wes has missed the pocket in 2 games. Looked like he threw it pretty good, but that ball never came back. So we'll have to watch and see what happens with Wes Malott's ball reaction. It's been perfect to this point. Makes it look pretty easy for a big guy, doesn't he?
Big Wes does make it look easy. How does the tall stature of the player and the relative ease, how does he do it?
Well, he's got a lot of upper body tilt, which gets his bowling ball down closer to the lane when he lets go of it, right? He has a great swing in that it swings out on the way back and then tucks to the inside on the way down. Virtually almost impossible for Wes Malott to pull it.
Allen misses the head pin, now takes out the head pin, the unusual
Made it easier.
2-6-10.
Yeah, now it's, Dan says now it's easier. It's being a little sarcastic. It's actually harder now. This ball just hydroplanes and never gets back to the head pin.
Open frame for Dan McClellan.
So just revisiting your question about Wes. So that great arm swing also creates a tremendous hand at the bottom. So he's got that unique ball roll. He has that figure-8 arm swing, which makes it almost impossible for him to pull the shot left. And obviously he's a great bowler. So you add all that up together, and it makes Wes Malott a future Hall of Famer.
Let's contrast that with the powerful hand of Dan McClellan, and he recovers the strike. McClellan also a powerful hand.
Yeah, I've always liked Dan's game. I always thought that Dan was going to be a future star on this tour. He made some telecasts, always struggled on television, but I always thought that he had a lot of game. And you know, unfortunately, in any sport, you have to match the physical with the mental to get to that elite level.
Something that Wes Malott has done. 10 victories in a major, looking for a second here today. Already 258 winner twice, semifinal. Ball roars back, takes out the 5 and the 7. That's my kind of Wes Malott. He's got that saunter. He's just got that apparent disinterest, which belies what's beneath the skin.
Right now, he's doing a lot of thinking. He's doing a lot of processing right now, because I guarantee he's really close to changing bowling balls.
Spare strike for Malott. Back on the left lane. Back. Strike on Wes Malott. Important shot here for Dan McClellan. Perhaps a little bit of nerves, first time on TV in a while. Lets one fly in the first frame, recovers with the strike. Double here is key for McClellan.
If this ball doesn't hit the head pin, well, let's just say it's going to be a long, tough road for Dan.
Ooh. Recovery with the messenger. Slap it off.
Y'all know it. Y'all know it. Come on.
Here is today's Barbasol Close Shave of the Day. Razoring the 10.
Nice little messenger there for Dan. I want you to watch this next shot now. Watch how long, high this backswing is and how short and abbreviated the follow-through is.
Shim. Woo!
McClellan, after a tentative opening pitch with a very convincing turkey.
Might be the first show that Dan McClellan's ever been on where he actually had a really good ball reaction.
Career TV record of 3-7, averaging just 199.8 over 7 appearances. McClellan recovers to turkey. Wes Malott, clean, double working, 4th frame. Pin.
And that's why I said ball change coming, because it looks like on that right lane, the aggressive bowling ball he's using is running out of gas. That was a flat 10. It's the first flat 10 that he's left today. McClellan did have a nice run at the 2014 PBA Tournament of Champions, where he eventually lost to Wes Malott. That was the last time he actually looked good on TV.
Let's go down to the lanes with Kimberly Pressler.
With the #1 seed now, Anthony, you have that enviable position of being the #1 seed, but you've been waiting for over an hour. How are the nerves?
You know, they're there. You know, not looking at it as anything fancy. It's just going to be a normal game.
You go out there, throw 10 good shots, and see what happens.
I saw you watching some of the matches. Did you learn anything from them that you can take into your match?
It seems like the right lane's hooking a little more, and the left lane's a little tighter down lane. So get my warm-up shots over there, and we'll get a game plan going.
Good. Thanks so much for your time. Guys, back to you.
Fifth frame for Wes Malott. And Malott, another 10-pin. Mike Albee, the youngest major champion of all time. Mike watching today from the Indianapolis area, a little under the weather today. Michael, we miss you. And we'll see if Anthony Simonson can become the youngest ever. Another 10-pin for Malott.
Yeah, Mike Albee was always one of my favorite people out here. Just a class act and a great Hall of Fame champion. Get well soon, Mike.
Spare for Malott. It's an even match. So despite the first frame for McClelland, all even. And the 2011 Canadian National Champion bidding to be the first Canadian to win a PBA Tour title. He's got the vintage danger zone. It's a 7-point rock on a scale of 10, indicating hook potential. Fifth frame on the turkey.
Ambo.
Wednesday at 9 Eastern, it's college basketball's greatest rivalry, Duke versus number 9 North Carolina at the Dean Dome. Wednesday Night Hoops is part of Rivalry Week, presented by Wendy's, also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Dan McClelland now on a string of strikes, 6th frame. Tight and a 3-pin.
Well, that was the full Yankee on the left lane, but this is the first time that Wes Malott has trailed in any of his matches all day. This is a nice break for Dan, but it's also a nice break for Wes Malott in that Dan McClelland didn't strike. That could have been 6 real easy.
Nine-pin advantage for Dan McClelland. The winner of our semifinal will face 19-year-old Anthony Simonson, bidding to become the youngest ever to win a major title on the PBA Tour. Sixth frame for Malott. Trails by 9. Messenger for good measure. Strike for Malott in the 6th.
Well, no ball change yet, but he has added tape. Wes is always fidgeting with that thumb hole. He likes that thumb hole to be perfect, as do we all do. But you can see him get this ball flush into the pocket. He added some tape, a little bit better feel, and a better ball reaction on that right lane.
When you're adding the tape, where are you adding the tape?
Some players put it in the back part of their tape. Some players put it in the front. Some players do both. If you put it in the front part of the thumb hole, it's actually going to increase the span ever so slightly by the thickness of that tape. If you put it in the back part of the thumb hole, you don't run into that.
The stats on Wes Malott, including part of the new Portland Lumberjacks in the 2016 PBA League, and we'll get a reset. Wichita Windmill and a reset. Important shot for Wes Malott. Potential lead changer with a strike.
The beast has returned to Woodland.
The beast within and the beast without. Double for Malott and a 1-pin advantage now for Big Wes on this pitch.
Beautiful shot here. A little bit of loft, a little bit more hand. Great result for Wes Malott.
Dan McClelland, sensational collegiate player, 2-time collegiate national champion and 3-time National Collegiate Player of the Year. And that's light, leaving the 2-pin.
Worst thing that can happen for a right-hander is when the player feels like he made a good shot, gets the ball a little bit to the right, and it comes back light for a 2-pin.
Spare for McClellan coming into this television show, Randy. He's just said no pressure for me, and you can see it when you talk to Dan. Just the apple of Dan's eye is his daughter Harper, and here's Dan's path through the double elimination match play, defeating our very own Mike Edwards in the first round. Nathan Bohr, then David Samard, Tim Foy, another two-hander. Tom Doherty before losing to Anthony Simonson in the winner's bracket championship to earn the number 2 seed, 8th frame. He's really showing some moxie. Tough opening pitch, puts a string together. He's right in this, and he hasn't been there in a while.
Dan McClellan's a really good bowler.
Come on.
I mean,
let's go.
He's got a nice resume. He's made television shows. He struggled losing his first 5 matches on TV before winning, but he can bowl.
Head over to PBA.com to check out the latest PBA Bowling Challenge mobile game for iPhone, iPad, and Android devices. With more than 15 million downloads, you can join your friends as well as bowl against the top PBA bowlers in dozens of tournaments all over the world. The game is constantly being updated, so click on the mobile game link at PBA.com and get started today.
What? Oh, no.
2-pin
There it
lead
goes.
for Wes
Good.
Millat.
It's off. Thank you.
On a pair of strikes and can extend it to 12. He's back on the right lane, Randy, and this is where we had seen that flat 10 back in the 4th. Not that time. Strike from Millat, extending his lead to 12 with 2 to play in the semifinal.
That was nasty.
He's got that look.
Yeah, he's throwing it great. He's got a lot of confidence going on, great feel, a really nice ball reaction. Right now, it's just all about staying out of your own way and executing.
Clean line for Millat, spare, double, spare, spare, turkey. 9th frame, first to operate in the foundation. Light, 2-8-10.
Wesley. Come on. Don't make it like that.
Well, it's his first errant shot of the day. Looked like he just missed it at the bottom.
Cleans up 2 on the count. Open frame for Wes Millat, 193 open. And now Dan McClellan can perform in the 9th and 10th. The match is in his hands.
He goes strike 9 spare, he wins. Best Wes Millat can shoot is 223. Dan McClellan can shoot it for 246. But a strike here gets him in the 220s. So strike in the 9th, 9 spare strike in the 10th. He's a winner. Whoa.
Just a pinch high, 4-pin.
Millat still has life. Remember the last time on the right lane he went 2-pin. What's the tendency to go up the lane just a little bit more? It's exactly what he did there, leaving the 4. Spare here, he's still at 216. A double and 8 in the 10th frame. He will bowl for the title.
Despite the open frame in the first, Dan McClellan putting himself in a position to be the first Canadian to ever win on the PBA Tour, and it's a major. It's not how you start on the PBA Tour, it's how you finish. 10th frame. What a shot. Pured it. Splits the 8 and the 9.
Yeah, beautiful shot. Needs one more just like it. He's going to take a re-rack here on the left lane. He's loose. He's playing with the crowd.
He's a different young man. Dan and his wife Christy, and got to meet Harper. Just the sweetest little thing you've ever met. And she's stolen this man's heart. Christy cheering him on. Dan McClelland, after the heartache at the Masters last year, ball in hand to advance. Light. 2-7 split.
Wes Malott still has a chance. He needs a double in the 10th frame. Looked like a pretty good shot off his hand and just never got back to the pocket. Leaves the 2-7. Now it's up to the beast. Can he get up and double?
216 for Dan McClelland on the board.
Last player to climb the ladder, Jason Belmonte, 2014, climbed the stepladder finals to win the Masters, and he was the first player to ever do that. Wes Malott looking to become the second player, but he must double in the 10th frame to have any chance of that happening.
He has the last 2 strikes on this lane. 10th frame, 2 strikes and 4 to meet Anthony Simonson. Six gets the 10.
Major champions come through in big time situations, and that's what we have right here. Wes Malott trying to make a statement. 10-time titleist, 1 major to his career. 1 more strike away from bowling for the title here at the 2016 USBC Masters. This is what it's all about in our sport. Coming through in the clutch, getting the W, moving on. The only thing better than this is doing it in the title match.
Fresh set of 10 sticks, strike to advance. And we'll do it again.
Got to shut the computer off and just let the body respond to how you trained it. It's so easy to overthink it in this situation. You've got to somehow just shut it off, put your hand in the ball, and go. Heart rate's at 166. He's been at 140 for the entire telecast.
This is what the pressure of winning on the PBA Tour does to the circulatory system. Reload. It's in the nose. Dan McClelland advances. Pressure.
Just a bad shot off his hand. Got it into the lane early. Looked like he thumbed it. A lot of thinking going on, a lot of processing going on, and that's what causes that shot. I know he's disappointed, both great. It came down to literally 2 shots. The one in the 9th frame where he left the 2-8-10, and that shot there.
The top 2 in the winner's bracket, Dan McClelland and Anthony Simonson, will meet in a 1-game championship match to determine the winner at the USBC Masters. When we return to Woodland Bowl, 10 frames from a major title. Tonight at 11 Eastern, join us for a special Valentine's edition of SportsCenter at night with the two Johns. They'll have all the highlights from the NBA All-Star Game, Kobe's last ride, the NHL Pebble Beach, and let you know if there are any more upsets in college basketball. Sports Center at night tonight right here on ESPN, streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. And happy Valentine's Day, Randy. I appreciate the Valentine under the pillow.
Yeah, okay, Mike. Let's do the Geico instead. Wes Malott was a beast. His first two matches, 258 winner, 258 winner. He takes out Doherty. In the next match, he takes out Chris Loschetter. And what does Malott do for 2 games? Well, he just threw 20 strikes in 2 games. But it would all change in match number 3. Facing Dan McClellan. Dan gets up in the 10th frame. He can double to shut out Wes Malott. He gets the first hit. He doesn't get the second. He leaves an opening for Wes. Wes gets the first strike and goes through the nose to lose by 3. Dan McClellan now bowls for the title.
Your Geico Championship recap. Dan McClellan looking to be the first Canadian to win. Anthony Simonson, can he be the youngest in history to win a major? Find out uninterrupted next. The 2016 USBC Masters rolls on live at Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis. We've reached the title match. 10 frames of bowling. Number 1 seed Anthony Simonson just turned 19 with a win. He would become the youngest player in the history of the PBA Tour to win a major title. Going up against Dan McClellan, looking to be the first Canadian ever to win. Our Rolltech stat, 300 games during the USBC Masters, 11 of them shot during qualifying at this event and none during match play. Stats by Rolltech. And now, Anthony Simonson elects to begin.
Likes the right lane better, obviously.
19 out of Princeton, Texas. Big pin reaction, strike for Simonson.
Two-handed style of Anthony Simonson. He's actually a little lower rev rate two-hander than we're used to seeing from guys like Belmonte, Osku, Jesper Svensson.
2 great stories competing for this title. Dan McClellan up first frame. Oh, matches him with a late fall of the 9. McClellan going through his personal challenges to find himself back in the spotlight on the PBA Tour, as has Anthony Simonson. Here's a second look at the late fall of the 9.
Nice pin action there, kicking that 9 out late. He's won singles gold medal in 2014 men's WBA World Championship in Abu Dhabi. Gold medals in Canada, the Pan Am Games in 2015.
Touch wide, light 4.
Some of his collegiate accomplishments that you alluded to in the last match. He's done everything except win on this tour.
Dropped his PBA touring card, competing as an amateur at this event, working in the bowling industry in Kitchener, Ontario for Frederick Lanes as the GM, and in a title battle on the other side of the coin. 19-year-old Anthony Simonson won everything he could win as a junior player. Left high school to become in pursuit of a professional bowler, surmounting many obstacles along the way.
Wes Malott was talking to Anthony after his loss to Dan McClellan, and he told Anthony, he says, listen, just some food for thought, but I played the right lane, hooking 2 more boards than the left lane. And take a look at Anthony's arsenal. Optimus solid. You know, another great story about this young man is that he's actually currently a member of Junior Team USA because he's under the age of 21.
Opening double, 3rd frame for Simonson. And he gets the strike.
Him and Jesper Svensson are both on their country's junior teams, respectfully. They'll be at the World Youth Championships in Nebraska in July.
Simonson turning pro, becoming the Rookie of the Year in the Southwest region in 14. He lost his mother last year in 2015, went on to win the United States Bowling Congress Doubles Championship. McClelland up in the third. And that's a light 2-pin.
Dan McClelland only bowling 216 the last game after Malott just scorched him with back-to-back 258s. 216 is not going to be enough to win this title match. I don't know if it's a ball change for Dan or if it's changing his angles, getting softer with his hand and opening the lane up more, which he can most certainly do. But the ball reaction that he has right now, the way he's playing the lanes, I don't think is conducive to him bowling a big game.
Talked to us yesterday. He said he needs to trust himself more, and he is trusting himself more in these situations.
You know, he's very unique in that he's a power player that likes to go really straight.
Good pitch, strike for McClelland in the fourth.
You hear him say, he's talking to himself saying soft, soft. And maybe the way for his ball to react better is just by getting his speed down just a bit. But getting back to Anthony Simonson, I was speaking to his tour consultants today, and Jim Callahan, Del Ballard Jr., and Tim Mack, and they said that they've never seen anything like this young man.
Light, and first challenge, a 210 split.
Said he's mature beyond his years and experienced in both life and bowling. Right now, his first obstacle has that nice lead working on the front three and then the 210. Let's see if he can slide the 2-pin over.
Open frame for Anthony Simonson, the loss of his mother last year prior to bowling at the United States Bowling Congress Open Championships, where he won the doubles there with his partner Mark Sleeper Jr. He dedicated that victory to his mother. Here's Simonson's roll through match play, undefeated. A.J. Johnson, runner-up here last year. Bill O'Neill, Jesse Buss, 6-0 on the way to the title match. He's up by 7 pins, fifth frame. 7-pin the last to fall, strike for Simonson, 4 out of 5.
417 bowlers competed this week. He was the only one that went undefeated.
McClelland, clean strike, spare, strike. Chance to take the lead here with a double.
A lot of pressure on Dan's shoulders, as he alluded to the other night, speaking with us, saying, you know, I want to be the first Canadian to win on the PBA Tour. No other Canadian has ever won under the bright lights of the biggest stage in our sport.
Considering the right lane and considering what we saw from Wes Malott, is Dan McClelland seeing something similar in terms of his ball reaction?
I mean, I got to go with Wes Malott. If Wes Malott was playing the right lane to hook more, I got to believe the right lane's drier. He had the best ball reaction out of everyone today. But, you know, everybody's balls, you know, everybody's got a little different ball roll, and you know, maybe it reacts harder for Wes, and maybe it doesn't for Dan McClelland. But, I mean, I go with the guy that had the best look, and that was Wes. I think the right lane hooks more.
Back half of our title match, 6th frame. Perfect shot for Dan McClelland, and Kimberly Pressler is with Wes Malott.
Thanks, Mike, I sure am. Wes, thanks for taking the time to talk with me, especially after that heartbreaking loss. It all came down to that last shot. Were you in your head?
Well, a little bit. I don't even put it on the last shot. I put it a shot in the 9th frame when I 2-8-10. That was the key shot in the match, in my opinion. I really feel like this was my tournament, and I kind of gave it away. And now I've got to go home and regroup, get ready for next week, and not do this again and learn from it.
Well, during the break, we saw you talking to Anthony. What advice did you give him?
Oh, Anthony's a Texas boy, and you know, he's like kind of like my son. You know, give him any advice, and kind of told him what I saw on the lanes and how, you know, the difference that I had him in, and you know, I didn't want to embed it in his brain, but I want to give him a little food for thought to have in the back of his mind, and maybe it'll help him and get his first title, or not his first title, but his first major, and be the youngest of all time to do that.
Well, I'm sure it was helpful. Guys, back to you.
Simonson, 7th frame, double working. Bang, bang, plus 27. How can you be that solid at 19?
It's a real phenomenon. It's very unique. You don't see it. You know, we were talking about Norm Duke, and was Norm Duke this mature when he was out? Remember Norm being the youngest to ever win a title at age 18, and the answer is no. Norm wasn't. He had a nice little run there when he first came out on tour, but it took Norm many years to mature into the superstar Hall of Famer that Norm Duke is today.
Haven't heard the last from Dan McClellan, striking the 7th, and he cuts the lead to 17. Another one gets it into single pins late in the title match at the Masters.
This is what major championships are all about, and players just leaving it all out on the lanes. This match certainly coming down to the 8th, 9th, and 10th frame. Dan McClellan steps up now, can cut the lead, or excuse me, cut the deficit to 7.
A frame.
Oh no.
Solid 9.
It's like getting rabbit punched right in the throat. What a terrible break. Just a beautiful shot, and the ball goes right by it. Sport can be so cruel at times. It just makes a great shot. And oh, you see the result right there.
Spare for McClellan. He trails by 18. Big thanks to Jim, Doty, and everybody here. Jim, the general manager at Royal Pin Centers, the great history of Woodland Bowl and their participation in championships and majors. One of the great venues in professional bowling.
Yeah, and he's one of the greatest proprietors and people you'll ever meet. And Mr. Doty is just a great guy and has always been a friend of the PBA and the players. Thank you for all you do for us, Jimmy.
Turkey working, Simonson, 8th frame. Roars it out, 4-bagger with a bunch of pin action.
Well, watch this ball go out for burger and fries and come back with steak and baked potato. And that couldn't have happened at a better time, working on a 3-bagger.
Throwing some bacon bits. Turkey Open 4-bagger, Simonson leading by 28. Bidding to become the youngest ever to win a major on the PBA Tour. Foundation frame. Blocked it out, drives it straight back. Team Fish rooting their compatriot on.
His doubles partner, Connor Pickford, sitting to the left. Kyle Troop to the right. Anthony Simonson, what an incredible story.
Bowling's band of brothers. And now Dan McClelland can still shoot 228 with strikes in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
The biggie, though, was the solid 9 in the 8th frame. He would have had a 4-bagger there. He'd been in the 220s. He could have struck out for 240. He couldn't have shut out Anthony Simonson, but he could have made him think about it. Now, Simonson just needs to stay behind the foul line and keep the ball in the lane no matter what Dan McClellan does. Amazing comeback for Anthony, going 3 in a row and then the 210 split and then firing back with a 5-bagger. Age 19. History in the makings, back-to-back weeks on the PBA Tour, major championships. Last week, Jesper Svensson. This week, Anthony Simonson. Well, McClellan bowled nice today. He bowled real solid. Made some nice shots. It's nice to see Dan back. Dan's going to go back to his home and his job in Canada. And Anthony Simonson is going to make history here today.
Dan McClelland, having kids and family, he said it flipped my switch. I'm not as high strung, and perhaps enjoying his time out on the PBA Tour just a little bit more. And a runner-up finish at the United States Bowling Congress Masters. Anthony Simonson, as rough as it gets at home, leaving school, turning to bowling for friends, for competition. Going through the regional program, Rookie of the Year there. Eagle winner for the United States Bowling Congress. What a moment.
I just think it's amazing where this young man is mentally. Let's let him enjoy this moment.
Anthony Simonson, the youngest ever to win a major on the PBA Tour, just turned 19 years old.
That's for you, Mom. For you!
Doubles winner on the PBA Tour this year, major championship winner, player of the year candidate early in 2016. It's 19-year-old Anthony Simonson.
Yeah!
You are the 2016 Masters champion.
Great bowling. Here's your bud. Keep it going.
Jesper Svensson, the youngest at the Tournament of Champions. Anthony Simonson, the youngest ever to win a major. We'll talk to him when we come back live at Woodland Bowl. The USBC Masters is brought to you by HotelPlanner.com. The best place to book hotel rooms. Best rooms, best rate, guaranteed. By Fire Lake Arena, a Citizen Potawatomi Nation enterprise. By Motive